Tally. I manifest. Want it, I see it, I got it, I get it, no question.
Yo, welcome back to J Tally Reacts, bringing you the highest vibrations on the internet. If you haven't already grabbed my book, Cheat Codes to the Simulated Life, an epic guide to manifestation and metaphysics, you can get that on Amazon today. If life's a game, there must be cheat codes. Good news, there are cheat codes and they're all in the book. We also have a 90-day journal you can get that will help you manifest quicker. It's called the Epic Manifestation Journal, a 90-day transformative guide. You can get that as well by J Tally on Amazon. Today, what we're going to jump into is something everybody loves to talk about and everybody should know about. Government conspiracies. Are they real? Most of them are. We all know this. But let's jump into the first video. I don't like to do too much talking. I just like people to get the information they need and then learn how to raise their vibrations. That's the goal of the channel. So let's jump into the first video right now.
Ever wonder why bad people seem to win? Because the universe doesn't reward goodness. It rewards alignment. You can be kind, generous, pure-hearted, but if your energy is stuck in fear, guilt, or self-doubt, you'll repel the very life you deserve. Meanwhile, someone's selfish but certain in their worth. They receive not because they're better, but because their frequency is clear. The universe doesn't operate on morals. It operates on mirrors. You don't attract what you deserve. You attract what you believe you are worthy of. So stop obsessing over who is winning. Start tuning your energy to what you actually want with Inner Tune, because life's not rewarding the bad. It's just responding to the beliefs. Comment now for access.
I wonder that all the time. I'm always like, damn, if I'm building my karma and raising my vibrations like every day, how are these people on such negative paths getting what they want? Because it's not about negative or positive. The universe doesn't see that. The universe just mirrors what you feel inside. So that's why I dedicated this channel to raising your vibrations, feeling good about yourself. You are powerful, you are strong, and you will overcome. Let's get in the next video.
This is the last Tartarian clock that still works to this day and is 100% evidence that our ancestors knew the Earth was flat and stationary. Now I want you to watch till the end because this is going to blow your mind. This is the Prague astronomical clock and it is perfectly synchronized with true astrology from our flat stationary Earth, just like all of our ancestors told us. Now watch. This clock perfectly tracks sidereal time, solar time, moon phases, the position of celestial bodies, and even zodiac signs, all in perfect synchronization, all without any electricity or satellite calibration. Now the clock's design encodes a geocentric model, placing the Earth at the center with celestial bodies moving around it in perfect predictable cycles. So how would this clock perfectly predict to this day perfect planetary alignments, eclipses, and even zodiac transits? The Earth was spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, orbiting the sun at 66,000 miles per hour, hurtling through space at millions of miles per hour. It would be impossible to predict these things. All of our ancestors told us that the stars are what move above us and that we are stationary. It's like the Egyptian depiction of the Earth. We have a flat, stationary Earth and the stars on the firmament. I want you to take notice at the middle part of this clock. This is the moon map, which is the real map of the Earth. Quite literally the flat Earth map, guys. And recently they've destroyed this by putting a globe on this clock. Literally how they cover up the real origins of humanity and our true history. An absolute disgrace this is.
Pause real quick. If you look into the moon map, that is a trip. Because I saw a video where they're basically like, look, the design on the moon fits the continents. So the moon is a reflection of the Earth. Then I saw a video how the moon kind of looks flipped in Australia. So I was like, oh, maybe the Earth is round because the moon looks like it's upside down in Australia. But in reality, the moon's just mirroring the continent of Australia. It's a trip. You should really look into like the moon mirroring the continents and all that. You'd really enjoy it.
This clock is built on the fact that stars rise and set in repeatable patterns, that the heavenly bodies move above us, observable for centuries and centuries. This is why if you point a camera at Polaris, which is the North Star, which doesn't move, it stays fixed and stationary 24/7, 365 days of the year in the night sky, it doesn't move. The stars around it do perfect circles constantly. Again, not possible if we're spinning, also orbiting the fucking sun and hurtling through space. You would see the stars do all sorts of crazy patterns. You just need to think about it. That's all you need to do. Astrology only works as perfect as it does because the stars are what move in perfect cycles. And literally all of our ancestors knew this. All of them. You guys believe NASA, which in Hebrew means to deceive. Like, it's insane. So brainwashed. These astronomers had no computers, yet they predict eclipses, planetary returns, solstices, and even retrogrades with shocking accuracy that still works to this day. This has been running for over 600 years, and probably more than that. Do not build a cosmic machine like this unless you know the divine order of this universe. This clock is a witness of truth, standing for centuries in a quiet defiance of the heliocentric lie. And the stars tell the exact same story every single night. If we were moving, the story would change, but it never does.
I'd like to check that clock out wherever it is.
Control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present.
Wow.
Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random that they lack purpose and struggle to make sense of a creator. Tell them that their kind is as smart as they've ever been so that they don't question the integrity of the system that they're in. Provide them idols with artificial beauty and use them as examples of what it is to look perfect so that they are never content with their own appearance and can't help but to compare themselves amongst each other. Create addictive digital platforms that rank them by numbers so that they base their self-worth off of the amount of followers that they have and are never satisfied. Build a society around them in which those who have money benefit and those who don't fail. Make money their main focus, but make it so difficult to accumulate that they remain in a place of constant struggle, forced to dedicate the majority of their time to the system that made it this way. Tax them in every way possible, but tell them that it's for their own benefit so that they don't think twice about paying it. Take so much of their time and energy throughout the week, but give them 2 days to themselves so that they feel a sense of reward and don't fight back. Promote the consumption of poison in every social setting so that even on those 2 days, they remain disconnected from themselves and each other. Pump their food with excess sugars and addictive chemicals, but make it cheap, advertised, and easily accessible so that they never stop consuming. When their food makes them ill, prescribe them medication that only masks the symptoms so that they become dependent on it every day. Charge them so much money for healthcare so that they stay in a constant loop of consuming, medicating, and working. Cause chaos amongst them and blame it on a group of their own so that they form judgmental stereotypes. Turn them against each other in so many ways so that even if they were to connect on one, they would still be divided by another.
Okay, I want you to look at this again. That was a sled going 6,599 miles per hour. I want you to take note. Watch how fast it seems like it's going, please. So fast you can't even see.
That's fast.
Okay, now I want you to read this, or I'll read it to you. If a rocket is launched from the surface of the Earth, it needs to reach a speed of at least 7.9 kilometers per second. Per second. That speed, get out of the way, is 20 times the speed of sound. Okay, and I'm a miles guy, so I want to know what that is in miles. In miles, 7.9 kilometers per second is 17,671 miles per hour. It's almost 3 times faster than that sled you could hardly even see. Now let's look at these rockets and see how fast they're going. And yes, I know they could, they don't just go 0 to 17,000 instantly, but this is a balloon. It's being launched like a balloon would. It's starting to float. It goes a little faster, but not much. All other rockets are the same. And you could say, yeah, it takes a long time. But let's watch this rocket from an airplane that's had a lot of time to gather speed.
Set at the VIP section, watch it launch. Yeah, but I've never seen it from the air. Yeah, that's incredible. Air right, buddy. Right. Can you still see okay? Yep, thank you.
Think of what that 6,000 miles per hour looked like. That 6,000 miles per hour that you could hardly see moving because it was going so fast. This is never going to reach 17,000 miles per hour. Not to mention the G-force that it would crush the pilots in. Guys, just because they say it doesn't mean it's true.
Facts. Just because they say it doesn't mean
10
it's
out
true.
of the 19 states in which Bill Gates owns farmland, along with at least another 10, have recently made it legal to dispose of human bodies into the municipal water supply, allowing human remains to be added into biosolid sourced fertilizer.
Did they just say make it legal to dump bodies in the water supply? Bill Gates, bro, like what's up with this dude? Like it's so obvious that he wants to depopulate. Talking about vaccines and the lettuce, like I was just talking to my dad about this, and it's like, he why does he want to vaccinate everybody? It's not to help us, right? It's to make us sterile. It's to depopulate.
It's called alkaline hydrolysis and is referred to in pop culture as being very, very green. Spiritual leaders have strongly objected to alkaline hydrolysis because they say it is disrespectful to the human body, the vessel of a divine soul. And it's understandable why they say this. In alkaline hydrolysis, the human body is liquefied with...
Pause. You know what I like to do? Watch this. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say about alkaline hydrolysis. Hey, so I want an honest answer, brutally honest, about what alkaline hydrolysis would do to a human's body spiritually and physically.
Absolutely. Let's dive in. Alkaline hydrolysis, also known as water cremation, is a process where the body is broken down using a strong alkaline solution and heat. Physically, it essentially dissolves the soft tissues, leaving behind bone fragments that can be pulverized into ash. Spiritually, different cultures and belief systems might view it differently. Some might see it as a gentle return to nature since it uses water and is less energy intensive than traditional cremation. Others might find it a bit more clinical or impersonal because it's more of a chemical process rather than a fire-based one. Ultimately, it's a more environmentally friendly and less energy-consuming method, but how it's perceived spiritually can really vary.
What is Bill Gates doing with alkaline hydrolysis as far as putting it in our water supply?
As of now, there's no credible evidence or information that Bill Gates is involved in putting alkaline hydrolysis into our water supply. That sounds more like a rumor or a misconception. Alkaline hydrolysis is generally used for individual human remains and not something that would be introduced on a large scale into the public water supply. If you've heard any claims like that, it's definitely good to look into reliable sources and verify the information.
So I like to double check things in the videos we do. I'm not just gonna be like, oh, here's the information, believe it. You need to do your own research. And as interesting as these things are, I try to only bring factual evidence for karmic reasons. Let's go.
Lie and poured down the sewer to mix in with the community's excrement. And if that weren't bad enough, this biosludge is then collected from municipal water treatment plants and used as so-called fertilizer on factory farms. The official excuse is that it saves the government money for expensive toxic waste disposal.
Pause. That's a good question to ask. Is the alkaline hydrolysis the sludge from it picked up and used as fertilizer at any point in time?
Yes, in some cases, the liquid byproduct from alkaline hydrolysis, which is often referred to as the effluent, can be treated and sometimes used as a fertilizer. The solution typically contains nutrients like potassium, nitrogen, and phosphorus. And after proper treatment and sterilization, it can be repurposed for agricultural use. That said, it depends on local regulations and standards, and it's not universally done everywhere, but it is an option in certain places.
Wow. So, there is truth to this video. Let's get into it.
Meanwhile, we are all being sold food that has been grown with a toxic biosludge made up of human remains and excrement, which is then loaded with new and strange nanotechnology. Interestingly, the dystopian movie Soylent Green took place in 2022.
They're making our food out of people. Next thing, they'll be breeding us like cattle for food. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them.
Promise, Tiger. I promise. I'll tell the exchange.
You tell everybody. Listen to me, Hatcher. You gotta tell them. Soylent Green is people!
I still haven't seen Soylent Green. If you have, shoot in the comments.
Guys, check this out.
Give me an example of a food that's a vaccine.
You recognize? Yes, sir. University of California, Riverside has already perfected the ability to put human vaccines into our lettuce right now. Also tomatoes has the ability to do that also for UC Berkeley. And then Big Tobacco, RJ Reynolds and stuff has perfected the ability to put a human vaccine into tobacco products.
Why, though?
Chairman Clements?
And is that even legal to do in the state of Tennessee, to sell those with a vaccine in them?
You recognize? Well, I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying is there is no law deeming those that when you go into a grocery store, you should know as a consumer, this head of lettuce is a head of lettuce. The head of lettuce right next to it could contain a vaccine in it. All we're saying is if it does have the vaccine in it, make sure it's listed as a pharmaceutical so people can get the proper dosage.
You recognize? The proper dosage? Like, we want the proper dosage of a tomato. Like, I can't make a pasta sauce without vaccinating my whole family. Like, that's ridiculous. And the scary thing is, they don't even tell us what pesticides they use. They don't tell us what vaccines they're giving the animals before we eat them. All these things come into play. It's like, no wonder, I'd say 60%, I'm confident in that number, 60% of our generation is already sterile. That's scary.
Thank you. Well, my question is right now, can you walk into a grocery store and there be a head of lettuce for sale that has a vaccine in it? I don't think that's allowed under state law presently. And if it is, and you have to list it as a pharmaceutical, are we going to then have Walgreens pharmacists with a refrigerated section? I mean, how's this going to play out?
You recognize? Thank you. This is more of a consumer protection bill right here, is to make sure that
consumer protection. Wow. Yeah, we need protection, you guys, but protect yourself.
Do you know about alchemical sexual alchemy?
Sexual alchemy.
Yeah, there is a substance or liquid or a substance that comes from your medulla, which is basically completely looks like the Ark of the Covenant. Has angel's wings around it, the whole thing. Your medulla is shaped.
Now, is this what Michael Jackson used to call Jesus juice?
Yeah. There's 33 vertebrae in your spine. There's 33 years in the life of Jesus. So this substance comes from your medulla, makes the trip down your spine to your sacrum, which is
quick, get a dictionary.
Christ coming down into human form.
Yeah.
And if you don't squander that essence, that sexual essence, it ascends again and goes back up to heaven, which is your thing. It's also the story of Santa Claus. Why he comes down the chimney is because this juice or this whatever substance actually passes what's called the claustrum, which is where they got Santa Claus. So it goes down the chimney and back up the chimney. It's all very freaky shit.
Jim Carrey is one of the only celebrities trying to actually wake people up.
withstand the impact of a jet. From what I understand, the outer skeleton of the building, the outer columns was like a fishnet, and you had these inner core columns, which were substantial, thick steel beams to withstand 4 or 5 times what the loads were. The engineers always over-design a building. No steel frame building has ever collapsed before or since 9/11. So that should say something right there. And it said that Building 7, it was a progressive collapse, that it was caused by fire. But progressive collapse, unlike the Twin Towers collapse from the top down. That's a progressive collapse, floor by floor by floor. But if you look at the videos of Building 7 collapsing, it collapses uniformly. It's collapsing from the bottom. The building stays intact all the way to the bottom of the ground, and you could see the sides caving in on it. For a building to collapse uniformly, which the videos show, all the load-bearing columns would have had to have failed simultaneously. Now, fire doesn't act like that. I came across an analogy of the Twin Towers, and if you could visualize cast iron stoves stacked one on top of each other. The stoves up at the top, yes, there's fire and they've been damaged, but the stoves on the bottom, they haven't been damaged. So the structure underneath all of that is intact. So it's impossible for a building to collapse near free fall speed and increase
without a controlled demolition.
You're running into the path of most resistance. So something else is going on. I don't believe that it was just the planes or the fires. I think that, and they examined the dust and they found what they call thermitic material, which is like an explosive incendiary, which was in the dust samples, and that's documented. There were reports of the buildings were undergoing an extensive elevator renovation in the 2 or 3 years prior to. All kinds of workers, they had access to the cores of the building. And on the day of the attack, the elevator company would not assist in the operations of the elevators. And the elevator company it subsequently went out of business. And a couple of years after that, the information is out there. At one time when I was heavily engaged in trying to get a new investigation, I definitely felt threatened. I felt threatened for my family, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. You have sworn testimonies from firefighters regarding explosions in the building. They were suppressed. Just somebody making a statement, especially from firemen and police, if they make a statement, I heard an explosion, that's grounds to initiate an investigation. The firefighters, a bomb went off. This is their own words, made that day. They just ignored it. Just like Building 7.
Yo, real talk, he breaks that down for the layman to understand that very easily, to see that that was an inside job. It's crazy because I wasn't going to put this video in. I think I'm going to go find it and add it in. But Trump actually called the news, and he was saying how there's no way in hell these buildings fell like that from a plane hitting it. And Trump designs buildings. He's an architect. Not an architect. He's a real estate mogul, and he's put up many buildings in New York, so he knows what he's talking about as far as the structural integrity of the Twin Towers. But yeah, crazy. Like, we call these conspiracy videos, but are they just factual?
Everybody's got to keep moving. Everybody's got to keep moving, please.
The only other thing that was found was the engine on Murray Street, and the engine on Murray Street has been identified as either a CFM56. CFM stands for Synecma, or the CF6, which was a 767 engine, which was developed out of the CFM 56. But whichever one it was, the CF6 or the CFM 56, it had to be General Electric. And unfortunately, or fortunately, United Airlines used strictly Pratt & Whitney. So that engine that you see flying off, and that engine they say is from 175, isn't from 175 because the guys whose job was to dump it off there dumped off the wrong engine.
My name's Tom Sullivan. I worked for Controlled Demolition Incorporated, CDI, the top-rated explosive demolition firm in the world, owned by the Loiseau family during the years surrounding 9/11. And I worked for them as an explosives loader for 2.5 years. As an explosives loader, my job was to place explosives in the buildings to prepare them for demolition. There are many steps that you need to take. First off is you have to weaken the building.
So the plane hitting the building was to weaken it.
To weaken the building, that means the staircase, all the staircases have to be cut at intervals. The firewalls have to be removed. The elevator shafts have to be cut.
I look down to my right, and the elevators exploded, something out of like a Bruce Willis Die Hard movie. People just come running out of the elevators on fire, fireball. I mean, it was like, what is going on here? There's something's up here. I mean, the plane's up there, now there's fire down here.
Then you have to move to the support columns on the particular load floors. And those are cut by a torch for two reasons. First, to weaken them, and also to allow for charges to be placed onto the structure, onto the columns themselves. And that essentially reduces their strength by about 20%. And even with all of that work being done to weaken this building, it still remains safely standing, so we can continue to work in it. The story that just a few columns can cause a synchronized global collapse, an implosion, is, well, that's just nonsense.
He said that's nonsense. Now, I'm from Vegas, and I've seen buildings be imploded. I saw the dunes get imploded, for sure. And I also saw, I want to say the Riviera get imploded. But it looked just like the Twin Towers coming down, which was crazy. It was like boom, doom, 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 all the way down. Like, it looks exactly like a staged implosion. But this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it isn't. But do your own research, right? All right, so I found that Trump video. Just want you guys to see that. I added that in for you. Here it goes.
I said, how could a plane, even a 767 or 747 or whatever it might have been, how could it possibly go through this deal? I happen to think that they had not only a plane, but they had bombs that exploded almost simultaneously, because I just can't imagine anything being able to go through that wall. Most buildings are built with the steel is on the inside around the elevator shaft. This one was built from the outside, which is the strongest structure you can have, and it was almost just like a can of soup.
You know, Donald, we were looking at pictures all morning long of that plane coming into building number 2, and when you see that approach the far side, and then all of a sudden, within a matter of a millisecond, the explosion pops out the other side.
Right. I just think that it was a plane with more than just fuel. I think, obviously, they were very big planes. They were going very rapidly, because I was also watching where the plane seemed to be not only going fast, it seemed to be coming down into the building. So it was getting the speed from going downhill, so to speak. It just seemed to me that to do that kind of destruction is even more than a big plane, because you're talking about taking out steel, the heaviest caliber steel that was used on a building. I mean, these buildings were rock solid. And, you know, it's just an amazing thing. This country is different today, and it's going to be different than it ever was for many years to come.
And it was for like 20 years. We were in a war.
Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's security detail killed Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk's assassin is caught on tape. Blake Bednar has brought us this video. We'll break it down. Take a look at this. Here it is from the wide angle. Watch Charlie Kirk's right side of his t-shirt. Watch the lavalier lapel mic. Do you see it explode? Let's bring it in just a little bit closer. Watch this. Put it in a freeze frame. That is the explosion from Charlie Kirk's lavalier lapel mic. Want to see it again? Bring it in closer. Remember when we told you that that was absolutely an exit wound? Yeah, it is. Check the trajectory of the round that was
Pause. It's crazy to me because Candace Owens is catching mad heat for questioning the Charlie Kirk assassination, right? And I'm not one to like shove the blame on his wife. I don't think Erica did it or had anything to do with it, but Erica fell in line a little too quick. Why are we questioning the assassination of her husband and she's content with the answer? Because look in this video, look at his shirt. You can tell his shirt puffed out, right? His shirt looks like it got a lot of air in it. If I got pushed back by a bullet, which granted the force would be a lot stronger than that, my shirt wouldn't fill up with air. I don't know. This video blows my mind.
Deployed from that lavalier lapel mic. that went directly from Charlie Kirk's lapel, that went directly from underneath Charlie Kirk's white t-shirt up through his neck and created the exit wound that we told you was an exit wound immediately when we saw that exit wound. First we had exploding pagers, now we have exploding mics. Do you remember the vector analysis from John Bray? That proves that all of the activity came from the mic that Charlie Kirk was wearing. Remember the palm gun guy in the brown shirt, that shadowy looking guy with the sunglasses? Yeah, he pushes the detonator. Clear as day.
Gang violence. Great.
And he's the first one to duck down too, like shots fired, which is kind of crazy. Like he initiated the shots fired, get down thing.
That's the assassin. That's the guy that pushes the detonator, which perfectly aligns with the explosion that pushes that projectile through Charlie's right side of his neck and out the left side, creating the exit wound. That might just look like the chaos that you would expect after someone was publicly executed in broad daylight in front of 3,000 people. But in no way did that trigger man, that assassin in the brown shirt with the sunglasses, act alone. We have video now from Destiny that shows the handoff of this remote detonator.
There was some handoff of something. I don't know what it is, but there was a handoff for sure. And why? They shouldn't have touched it, period. Handoff. And then dude dips out. Does anybody know who that guy is? If you do, put it in the comments.
Who's in control? Who was in charge of the CDC that was controlling and telling our government to shut down small businesses and what they recommend for the mandates of the vaccines and Pfizer and all? At the time when COVID was being enacted, I'm going to read off the staff of who was in charge of this CDC. The director of the CDC was Rochelle Walensky, dual citizenship with Israel. She's a Jew. Deputy director of the CDC, Ann Shawalchik, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC chief of staff, Sherry Berger, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC chief medical officer, Mitchell Wolf, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC director of the Washington office. This is pertinent to the topic. We're talking about COVID, right? Yeah. This is pertinent to COVID. So, I love you, Jennifer. Yeah, please. So, director of the CDC of the Washington office, Jeff Resnick, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. COVID SAR, Jeff Zaints, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. COVID senior advisor, Andy Slavitt, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Assistant of Health Secretary for Human Services for our country, the Assistant of Health Secretary, Rachel Levine, transgender, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew.
Can I ask that you hold off, Christopher?
Ma'am, I'm almost done.
Mr. Wood, the chair has ruled that your comments are out of order. She's asked you to stop. The chair has...
You said Jew. There's nothing wrong with Jew. It's not derogatory.
Exactly. Okay, keep on going. Head of Pfizer vaccines, Albert Bourla, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Pfizer chief scientist, Michael Dost, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Moderna chief scientist, Paul Zaks, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. BlackRock, everyone know BlackRock? BlackRock CEO, Larry Fink, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. I said we're willing to sacrifice our ego, our reputation, and our lives. Yes, ma'am, and I love you, and I appreciate your patience. BlackRock president, Rob Capital, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. The CDC chief medical officer of Johnson & Johnson, Joanne Waldstreicher, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Chief medical officer of Merck, Michael Rosenthal, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Head advisor of the World Economic Forum, Yuval Harari, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. And that's only talking about COVID. That's not talking about who's in charge.
Christopher, you need to stop.
Who's in control of the media? Or the bank? Go on. God bless you. Thank you for your patience.
Damn, he's spitting facts there too. It's like he's only talking about Schmomid, right? With a C. That's not talking about the media. That's not talking about the banking system. That's not talking about our government. That's only about Schmomed with a C. Crazy. Why do they all have dual citizenship too? Like, I get it. Like, I'm working on getting my dual citizenship in Italy, though. Maybe I should be getting it with Israel. But they all have dual citizenship. They're all Jewish. It's just crazy to me. Like, I don't get it. And then when Charlie Kirk starts trying to break ties with Israel, that's when this tragedy happened to him, right?
What did you learn?
We learned about how the Earth went around the sun.
Do you want to tell him the truth?
Yeah. So first, God set the Earth on its foundation. It can never be moved. So how does it go around the sun? Second, God is enthroned above the circle. Yes, it is a circle, but not round like a ball. He's enthroned above the circle of the Earth. Third, in Revelations, it says that there are 4 corners of the Earth. Now, tell me, how can there be 4 corners of a round ball? Okay, fourth, God created a firmament, split the waters above and below. This is why our rainbows are shaped how they are. And when you hear thunder, it echoes off our firmament. Fifth, in Isaiah, God sits on his throne above the circle of the earth.
I've never heard that.
Also, God set the sun, the moon, and the stars in the firmament to give Earth light. This gives you an idea of what our Earth actually looks like. We have never gone past the firmament, and let me tell you this, NASA in Hebrew means to deceive. All this was about was question everything. Oh, and I need to add that the moon and sun move around inside of a firmament. Oh, and guys, this is purely entertainment only.
Hey, she hit him with the entertainment only. She's going to be super famous. She's going to be a good influencer if she keeps it up. But that's the second time we heard NASA in Hebrew is to deceive, right? Let's see what chat says about that. Hey chat, what does NASA mean in Hebrew?
In Hebrew, the word nasa, generally means to lift or to carry, and it's a verb that can also mean to test or to try. The name of the space agency, NASA, is actually an acronym in English, standing for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, but it's interesting that in Hebrew, the word itself has that meaning of lifting or carrying. Why
did you bring up NASA, the Space Institute? I was just asking you what it means in Hebrew.
Got it. Yeah, it's definitely...
Hold on, wait. Can I ask you something? Why are people saying NASA means to deceive? I've heard it twice today. Is that not true?
Yeah, that's a common misconception that pops up now and then. Some people point to the Hebrew root nasa as meaning to deceive, but that's not accurate. The actual meaning is more along the lines of to lift or to carry, and the idea of deception doesn't really align with the etymology. It's more of a myth or misinterpretation that circulates online.
So there's no root connected to NASA that could mean deceive.
Exactly. There isn't a direct root in Hebrew that means to deceive in relation to NASA.
What about another language? Does it mean that in any other language?
In most other languages, the word NASA is primarily recognized as an acronym for the space agency, and it doesn't have a meaning related to deception. There might be coincidences or false etymologies in various contexts, but generally the word doesn't carry that meaning in any major language.
Oh, well, there you go. We're breaking down walls today, right? A lot of people say that, though. It's like, did this just get blown out of proportion and everybody just believed one person said it on the internet? Because I looked it up on Google too and it didn't say to deceive, so I wonder if that's true. I mean, it's obviously not true, right? So people need to stop saying NASA means to deceive.
They hid this from you for a very simple reason. If you found out how your energy works, no one else could control you. What I'm about to show you was banned, because it's not symbolic. It's practical, it's direct, and it's dangerous for those who profit from your confusion. There's a point in your body that, when activated the right way, makes your energy change state. You feel it instantly, in your body, on your skin, and the world starts responding differently. But almost no one notices, because everyone's looking in the wrong place. Today, you're going to understand exactly how to control your vibration. No talisman, no ritual, no guru. And the craziest part? You're already using this energy right now, even without knowing it. The problem is, using it by accident isn't the same as using it with intention. And that's when everything changes. The ignorant man blames others for his condition. The semi-wise blames himself. But the wise one realizes that everything is energy in motion. You're broadcasting right now, at this very moment. Even if you don't want to, even if you don't know it. There's a frequency coming out of you, moving through space, touching everything around you, shaping the invisible. And the scariest part, no one ever told you. They always made you believe that reality is just out there, fixed, solid, an unchangeable structure that you have to accept, adapt to, and resign yourself to. But the truth is the opposite. Reality isn't static. It responds. It adjusts. It shapes itself according to what you carry inside. Your thoughts aren't just thoughts. They're not stuck in your head like powerless words. They're impulses that spread out, vibrations that interact with the field around you. And the more emotion they carry, the more power they have. Anger, fear, excitement, desire. All of that changes your energetic signature. Have you ever noticed how a room changes when someone walks in full of tension? Or how a conversation can suddenly feel lighter, for no obvious reason, when someone shows up with a real smile? That's the field at work. That's energy being transmitted and received. That's you affecting the world without saying a single word. Now think about this. If that happens even when you don't mean to, what would happen if you did it on purpose? The biggest mistake was teaching you that action only exists in the physical, that you only create when you do something with your hands, your body, your voice. That's a lie.
That's a lie. Go ahead and change your vibrations and just smile real big.
The lust to control other human beings is a story as old as time. There's a very strong drift in the direction of globalization, of the ultimate centralization of control in the hands of unelected officials at supranational organizations.
They want all of the resources of the world in their pocket.
The bigger picture is that an attempt is underway now to collapse liberal democracy and replace it with global technocracy.
This is a coup. They're saying we can control with rules. We don't need currency anymore.
It's like an inverted prison. You are supposedly free to roam about, but everything you want to access is behind lock and key.
The potential for social control is gigantic and potentially irreversible.
They plan to commandeer land, reduce farming, and radically change the food we eat, transform the supply of electricity, and then dictate how we use it, and replace currency with a system of credits.
Pause. And that's what they're doing right now, like to a T. I'm probably going to get a copyright infringement for this part, but it's worth it to show you guys this. See, they want us eating worms, which we're already doing, like in a lot of our protein powders. That's why I only drink pea protein or vegetarian protein. The currency, all digital, we're on our way there, and then our freedoms are shook. The crazy thing about the power thing, though, is we're allowing them to do that. We are giving them our houses and saying, here, go ahead and put up your solar panels. We'll give you a rebate. that hasn't worked out positively for anybody I've spoken with. So do not put solar panels on your house unless you're a certified tech and you know how to do it yourself. Okay?
All three strategies are built on the premise of a climate crisis caused by carbon dioxide.
I do not think there's a climate crisis, and I base that on all the evidence and the climate data sets that we build to answer questions just like that. The government is very clear that they want a catastrophic story.
There is no single science paper that proves conclusively that humans control all or most of the global climate.
Europe's mad dash towards net zero is effectively economic suicide. Politicians are purposely impoverishing ordinary people, purposely deindustrializing Europe.
It's just tremendous amount of damage in the name of saving the planet. It does make you ask, what is it we're actually saving if we're paving it over?
I think what we're dealing with here is actually a global war on agriculture.
When you look at how many farms are selling up, we're walking into food shortages.
If I can switch everybody from real food to pharma food, then 100% of the agriculture industry can go through my publicly traded stocks, and I have complete control.
Pause. Pharma food. That's what we need to do a video on. All right. Shoot in the comments if you want to see pharma food video. Just put pharma food in the comments. Because I think we should do a video on that. Because we just saw them talking about the lettuce and the tomatoes need to be in the refrigerator section in the pharmacies. So maybe I'm missing the big picture on that, and it goes a lot deeper than lettuce and tomatoes.
This is the biggest public relations scam in the history of the world. But it's far more than that. It's a blueprint. It is the action plan.
All life on Earth is going to be radically changed.
Everything will be monitored. The environmental consequences of every human action.
The general population cannot fathom the psychopathy of the vision that they're facing.
Once the digital ID is in place, it's game over for humanity.
That's why I still haven't got a digital ID, and I'm not going to get a digital ID. But not that it matters. Like, people are tripping on the digital IDs. Like, I have an electric Mach-E, okay, Mustang, and at any moment they can be like, oh, Jay Talley, boop, you're not going anywhere. So it's like, I mean, the digital ID is just a small step towards a big picture, and that's why they're saying stay away from digital ID, right? Because look what's going on in the UK. Now you're going to jail for posting content that the government doesn't agree with. It's like unbelievable. We're a step away from that here, and digital ID is just another step towards that. So that's really why they're saying avoid digital ID, which is the same thing technically as real ID. So keep that in mind. Don't just go on your iPhone and say, oh, it's cool, I can put my ID in here and I don't need to carry a wallet. Well, you're giving up something to get something. And the stuff you're giving up is a lot heavier than the stuff you're getting. So keep that in mind.
You guys ever heard of Operation Fishbowl, where the U.S. government launched missiles straight up to test how high we can go? Have a listen to this.
In 1962, 7 years before they faked the moon landing, Operation Dominic began. A series of 31 missiles were shot straight up into the sky to test how high humans can actually reach. They quickly figured out, not far at all.
It seems that whenever they were shooting these missiles up into the sky, they were actually interacting with different layers of this plasma field or this electromagnetic phenomena.
That's
and
crazy.
It seems to have fluid-like properties as it actually hits a certain portion of...
Yo, we see that in the Elon Musk shoots, like with the rockets. Like, we see how it, like, looks like it's, like, hitting something, right? I didn't mean to, like, cut you guys off. Here we go.
This force field, if you will, it begins to disperse and seek equilibrium based on the impedance of the electromagnetic layers.
Fluid-like properties, eh? It's kind of like all of our ancestors told us. The waters above the firmament. The fishbowl. Just so you guys know here, Operation Fishbowl was a series of high-altitude nuclear tests in 1962. It's part of a larger Operation Dominic nuclear test program. Operation Fishbowl. This is one of the pictures from Operation Fishbowl after one of these high-altitude nuclear weapons exploded. This is what it looks like when something explodes out on something. This is what a bomb looks like when it's exploding up. This is what it looks like when it's exploding out, when it's hitting something, when it's hitting the fishbowl, the firmament. Here's another picture from Operation Fishbowl, exploding out. Isn't it wild to think about how all of our wisest ancestors told us that we live under a firmament or a dome? Then they blatantly put it in your face by calling it Operation Fishbowl, launching nukes straight up. They called it Operation Fishbowl, for God's sakes. You guys know Wernher von Braun, the dude that invented NASA, the Nazi scientist? Well, bro has a Bible quote on his tombstone, Psalms 19:1. And the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament show us his handiwork. Psalms 19:1. That's so interesting, isn't it? Just remember, guys, the eyes are useless when the mind is blind. Peace and love.
That made me think of something. If air is invisible and we breathe in air to survive, is water invisible to fish? And can they see air like we could see water? I don't know. That was a weird thought, but here we go.
Our DNA is made up of what? 5 elements, right? Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and oxygen. Do you know how they're arranged? The phosphorus sits right here in the middle, and you've got 4 oxygen atoms surrounding it. Then there's another phosphorus, 2 more oxygen atoms. Now these are the legs of that double helix. The latter steps on it, they become the adenine, the guanine, the cytosine, and thymine, the ATCGs. It turns out they used to think that the body transferred or understood the energy information through electricity. They're finding out it's through frequency. Well, guess what hydrogen sounds like? It's the key of E, and it's the color yellow. Oxygen is a chartreuse, and it's the key of F over F sharp. The carbon is also the key of E and yellow. Nitrogen is G. That's what proper physics gets you to. Information used to be thought about as just electrical information passing on. But I got a question for you. Have you ever been at a party with some of your friends? You hung out and there's a song that came on and you were like, ah, and everybody got up and was live at that moment. So when that song comes on, our DNA tightens. There's a particular song, a scale in the genome for each and every one of us. Now when that song is played, when your particular prime resonant frequency is played, guess what happens? Your DNA celebrates and tightens. Everything else gets pushed out. Harmonic wave resequencing.
Say what you will about my boy Terrence, but this dude will go down in history. He's touching base on things that we need to touch base on. He may not be right about everything, but he's right about enough, even if it's just one thing.
Yo, you have to watch this.
People want to defeat this new world order, but no one is offering solutions. The solutions are here. We just need to change our habits. Instead of fake news, do your own research. Instead of big box stores, support your local farmer's market. Instead of Gmail, use Proton. Instead of Chrome, use Brave. Instead of Amazon, use Public Square. Instead of pills, use plants. Instead of ChatGPT, use your brain. Instead of porn, build a family. Instead of investing in tech stocks, invest in gold or real estate. Instead of blindly buying from propped up brands, research who owns it and only buy from brands that share your values. Instead of acquiescing to ridiculous mandates, stand up for yourself. Instead of being silent, speak up. Instead of giving into fear, give into love and opportunity. At the end of the day, we have the power. And by going for the easy, convenient choice that was carefully laid in front of us, we're always going to make the enemy stronger. If we all just make a little effort, that's how we can change the world. And please, if you have solutions, add them in the comments and I'm going to make a part 2 of this.
Hell yeah. Raise them. Raise your vibrations, people. Some of you need to rewatch
The Federal Reserve is not federal. How many of you did not know before today that the Federal Reserve isn't federal? If you did not, don't be shy. If you didn't know before today that the Federal Reserve isn't federal, raise your hand. Most people don't know that. 9 out of 10 people that I asked off the street don't understand that the Federal Reserve is a non-auditable private banking cartel. They are collecting $36 million an hour in interest from the American people. $36 million an hour in interest from the American people. My children,
hour.
my 2 children, were born $86,000 in debt based on the national debt. Now, why am I going to take away from those children to give to somebody that is going to be born in 2030? That's not going to happen. So that was my decision. It was very easy. You know, you think about stuff like fear. Oh, the IRS is going to get you. They're going to take your stuff. That's not important to me. Stuff's not important to me. My children are important to me. I'm one of those mothers that will roll up her sleeves with one leg and try to whoop you if you mess with my children. And I think that a lot of mothers are like that. So this is what my decision was. And I went on and started educating people. One of the things that people asked me once I made this decision and started talking about it, how are we going to run the country without the income tax? I don't know how much Dan got into it, but the Grace Commission report that Ronald Reagan put out in 84, says that none of the money collected in income tax goes towards running the country. But the bottom line is it's not going towards running the country, so you patriotic people out there, you've been fooled. Beardsley Rummel, he was Federal Reserve Chairman back in 1946, did a speech before the American Bar Association. The title of his speech was Taxes for Revenue Are Obsolete. Within the body of this report, he says that the taxes, the income taxes for redistribution of wealth. What is redistribution of wealth? What is that? That's taking from me that I've worked hard for and giving it from somebody else to somebody else. Shouldn't I have the right to redistribute my wealth if I want to? Another question that they ask me is, how come I haven't heard this on TV or on the radio or in the newspaper? Well, sweetie, the simple answer to that is the same people who own the television stations and the newspapers and the radio stations are the same people who are involved with the Federal Reserve. And here is a little statement that says that it only requires 5% ownership to significantly influence the media. Rockefeller is one of the original shareholders of the Federal Reserve. As early as 1963, the House Banking Subcommittee reported that Rockefeller, through Chase Manhattan Bank, controlled 5.9% of the stock in CBS and the bank and gained interlocking directorates with ABC. I went all the way through high school, all the way through college, all the way through testing for the CPA, and all this Irish training and didn't hear about any of this. You think they want this information out here? For you guys to eat up and chew up and find out what's really going on? I don't think so.
This is insane.
Let me show you. So I'm going to take the paint off the can here. So we've got the paint off now.
Oh, I've seen this.
Wow. Plastic in a can, bro.
So this is what I'm talking about, guys. When you think you're drinking from a can, you're not drinking from a can. You're drinking from a plastic bag that's inside of a can. And you're getting all those microplastics, those hormone-disrupting chemicals, and all those negative things absorbing into your drink. So avoid the cans and go for glass, stainless steel, or copper.
Avoid soda.
The Earth couldn't be this spinning ball right here because 70% of the Earth is water, and water doesn't bend convexly around the exterior of a spinning sphere in a vacuum. That would defy physics, including fluid and statics. Of course, also they say that gas pressure is bending around the outside of this ball convexly, right? That's what the atmosphere is, even though gases have no inherent shape, and that's a dumb term. The gas around the sphere would fill the available space because of the second law of thermodynamics. And the water always finds its level. That's called fluid statics. These are actual laws of physics that cannot be denied. But when it comes to the magic spinning cartoon ball Earth in a vacuum that only NASA can see, and we're supposed to believe even though they admit it's just cartoons, well, it defies all the physics. It has magical powers. And what gives them the magical powers is that we give them $60 million a day. That's right, NASA takes $60 million a day of our tax money to tell us that the Earth defies physics, and then they give us cartoons, and that proves it. How impressive. So if the Earth was actually a ball like this, then, well, the water would fall off of it because water finds its level. It's called fluid statics. And as it spins, the water falls off of it faster. So 70% of a ball Earth couldn't be water. That's dumb. Of course, we've actually measured the Earth and it doesn't have a radius of 3,959 miles or a circumference of 24,901 miles, because that means it has to bend at a rate of 8 inches per mile squared, which means you see the Earth curvature at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. So at 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, you just see Earth's curvature from 1.2 miles away. But we see horizons over 10 miles away from 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, requiring the radius be over 250,000 miles, and they claim it's under 4,000 miles. What a clown world. Welcome to Clown World. But hey, guys, you should probably not listen to any empirical evidence or laws of physics because the government would never lie to you.
Yo, he is spitting some game there, though. Real talk.
Larry, you're in the shot, Larry. Can you please... No, don't put your coffee down. Would they buy that? It's space coffee? Can you use a space coaster or something? You guys, this is amazing. They have found life on Mars. I am not even kidding. Legit life on Mars. Look. A fly. A fly on Mars. Can we send more there? So this astronaut's wire completely malfunctions, and they quickly cut away before anything bad happens. I'll show it again. Whoopsies. So if these are fake, and again, this is just for entertainment purposes only, someone missed a reflection in the edit.
So my question is, how can you operate a lid on the outside of the space station by manipulating something mechanical on the inside of the space station without losing air pressure?
It's called real good engineering.
They just play in our faces,
a tortilla? Bro. A massive tortilla? Let me know when he figures it out. So this one is uniquely interesting. The man upside down looks to be a little stuck, and if you notice, can't point as far as that, but look at his shirt.
Yeah, it looks like it's like...
And it happens right when this guy presses
there's
a
harness
on the wall.
But I wonder if NASA admits that, like,
release something
there's harnesses in a lot of these videos. I'm sure they do.
So awesome about the space shuttle launch. It's great. But has anyone seen my pet rat anywhere? His name's Hugh Jackman. No? Now they're using something that's attached to a cord, and it gets stuck on something behind her.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was a line, it'd be hard to maneuver it, but what is it getting stuck on?
A harness, maybe? Yeah, I wonder how many of those are, like, actual practice runs.
As a guy in Iowa got curious, why do the birds start chirping an hour before sunrise? He found out the chirping of the birds is a frequency that helps open up the plant cell stomata on the bottom of the leaf, and it lets the plant start breathing in the morning. It helps, that's the alarm clock, it wakes the plant up. He found out that frequency is found in classical music quite a bit. So he started playing classical music to his cornfield. His neighbors thought he's a couple fries short of a Happy Meal, but until his corn grew 15 feet tall. And they said, what channel was that you're playing? When he played the music to his squash plants, they produced 5 squash per leaf instead of 1. He played it to his black walnut tree and it grew twice as fast as normal. Called Sonic Bloom. It's a combination of vitamins for the plant and special frequencies to open up the stomata.
If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and click like, subscribe, and the bell button so you are alerted when I drop new videos. I try to do at least 2 videos a week. 2026 is the year that I was going to get serious about this and really give you guys the codes, right? Because I released my book the end of 24, and then I released my journal like the beginning of 25, and this is the next step in helping activate people. That's my goal with this channel, okay? So we got one more video for you. Let's see what it is.
How do you activate the superconscious mind? Here is the most powerful of all. We call this the master method of activation. It is called solitude. You activate the superconscious mind with solitude. Now, how do you use solitude? We call this go into the silence. Go and sit down quietly by yourself for 30 to 60 minutes. 30 to 60 minutes. Most people in our society have never sat quietly for 30 to 60 minutes in their entire lives. Yet I will tell you this method works 100% of the time. that any problem that you have, any difficulty, any challenge, any goal that you want to accomplish, if you'll go into the silence and sit quietly and then listen to the still small voice within. This is the key. You will find that at a certain point, probably at about 25 to 30 minutes, your mind will go completely clear. And then a flow of ideas will start to flow into your mind. You'll feel energy welling up inside you. And at a precise moment, as you sit there in complete silence, no cigarettes, no coffee, no music, nothing, just complete silence, at a particular moment, your mind will go clear and wham, exactly the answer you need will come at exactly the right time. And if you will get up and go and carry out that answer, it will turn out to be exactly perfect.
And that's the end, okay? And I want you to really focus on that. I like to end the videos with something positive because looking at conspiracies, jumping down rabbit holes can make us crazy if we let it. But you have the power inside you. With TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all these things, YouTube, TV, blah, 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 blah. It gets crazy, right? We need to start either ending our day with solitude or beginning our day with solitude. We all have issues we need to overcome. He's saying that solitude will give you the answer to the issue that you need to overcome, like that. So, I'm Jay Talley. This is Jay Talley Reacts. If you made it this far, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends. All this is to activate people, all right? So, thank you for watching my videos. I do this for you, and I appreciate your attention, all right? Jay Talley. Once again, if you have any videos that you want me to share on my channel, just hit me up, jtallyreacts@gmail.com. If you need life coaching, help with meditation, help with understanding the cheat codes, or even questions about my book or the journal, you can hit me up now at jtallyreacts@gmail.com. All right? I'm Jay Talley. This is Jay Talley Reacts, and we're out.
Tally, Tally. Who manifest? Who manifest? I see it, I got it, I get it, no question.